Today I gave you some introductory lectures. In today also the same kind of things, but you need to enter into the topic gradually. Now today I will discuss about the position of English. That means in how English has come originated from the previous language or the its predecessors. Look at the point is that in the world there are several languages, huge number of languages. But all these languages have been clubbed into different families, and there are basically in the standard one is that there are 13 families. I have already given you that photograph of a chart, and that you can see, and then you can understand the problem. But there are 13 families of languages. I have mentioned, I have given you that one of them is Indo-Germanic family of languages. There are other languages and families. I am mentioning that Hamitic, Semitic is Dravidian, then it's Dravidian, Southeast Asian, Turanian, Australian, that means Indo-European or Indo-Germanic. I have already mentioned Bantu, Amerindian, Basque, Malay Polynesian, Central American, and Caucasian. These are the basically 13 families. Broadly, it is not that only these 13 families. Basically, these people, that means the linguists have decided that we can divide them broadly into 13 families. And within the 13 families, there are several other languages. So one of the families we are basically concerned with is the Indo-Germanic family of languages or Indo-European family of languages. And within the family, there are 8 members. See, Celtic, Italic, Greek, Albanian, Armenian, Aryan, Baltic, Slavonic, and Germanic. You see that I have mentioned within the Celtic, under the Celtic column, I have mentioned Irish language, Welsh language, Scotch language. Scotch language is basically Scotland. And then Italic, I have mentioned the Italian, then Portuguese and Spanish, French. So these languages basically called Italic languages, because you need to know, because these are maybe some short questions may be set. That's why I mentioned those. And you see that Aryan, in Aryan we have found that divided into 2. I told you that I am talking now that you have seen that Germany, from Germany I told you the Iran, because it said from the people, the Indo-Germanic people means Aryan people also. They started journey from Germany to Iran, and from Iran to India. So that we have divided Aryan means Arjo. They will divide into Indic and Persian. Indic means Sanskrit, Indic India, and it is in India. And India we find the Sanskrit, and from that subsequent we find the modern Indian languages like Bangla, Hindi, Gujarati, and others. Similarly, Persian, the Persian basically you see that within that the language is that Iranian. And now we come to the Germanic. We are more concerned with Germanic. And in Germanic you find that when do you call it Germanic? Because you see Germany, and from that Germany I told you that you mentioned that you see Sweden, Denmark, and you see Germanic people. That means in Germany the people, there are so many different kinds of tribes also are settled there, and they divide into several tribes, or you can say communities. Out of the communities they are divided into you see that some people are called East Germanic. That means Gothic. East Germanic means Gothic language, and Gothic language is dead language now. 6th century basically, by the 6th century it got dead. And West Germanic means you see that the Germanic, which part is that the main Germany, and North Germany. North Germany means Germanic people. These German tribal communities or the communities, they went to Denmark, Sweden, Iceland. I told you that please locate that part in Europe, map of Europe. And you found that the Danish, Sweden, this basically Danish, Swedish, and Icelandic, they are also called Norse, old Norse languages basically. There are Norse also. North means North, and then West Germany. Out of the West Germany, basically West Germany people, basically you see that one is the High German, Low German, and Frisian. High German means modern German now. The Germany where I told you that is Germany, which is basically high. And Low German means, see that below that one country is there, which is basically known as Holland. There is language Dutch. You know very well in geography that Holland basically very lower than the sea level. And Frisian basically we know that. Frisian basically the people they from Germany they went to England, which was basically known as Britain. And Britain basically was occupied by the Frisians and basically also Angles, Saxons and Jutes, and they went to England and in the 5th century by 450 onwards, and the migration took place up to 550, and gradually they mingled with the Aboriginals. Who are the Aboriginals? Britons. And they mingled with the Aboriginals, these tribes, German tribes. German people went to England. When? In 450 onwards. Because Britain was actually under the Roman Empire, and Romans left England in 410. After 410, basically England basically remained unsafe, and then Britain remained unsafe, and Britain basically was occupied by the Germanic tribes who came from Germany towards England, Britain, and they settled in England. They settled in Britain, and they merged together maritally, socially, culturally, religiously, you can say, and they created a new community called English community, Angles, Saxons and Jutes and Britons, and they merged together, and linguistically they use basically mostly in Angles, language of Angles, the grammatical system, and then they merged together, and the vocabulary and everything. They created a new language, it's called basically Frisian, and later it is known as Old English. And Old English, you see that 6th century, you see I told 550, I told you that 6th century to 11th century, because 1066 is the year of the Norman conquest. Norman conquest means England went under the French rule. I will talk later. And then Middle English from 11th century to 15th century, it was up to Chaucer, you can say. And after that, in the Shakespearean time, the Elizabethan time, the 16th century onwards, modern language, still to be called modern language. So modern English has derived from the Old English via Middle English, and this Frisian is basically a sub-member of the West Germanic dialect of the Germanic language, which belongs to Indo-Germanic family of world languages, basically, which is basically clubbed together into 13 families of languages. So this discussion, how do you come to know that this is in this way we are basically postulating that one, because the researchers have shown that Indo-Germanic languages have some similarities. Indo-Germanic or Indo-European languages, basically you see that most of the languages have the highly inflected languages. You see that we languages have that number system. In Sanskrit also, that you find that singular, dual, plural, Dvachan is there. In the Germanic also we have, and the number system is there. Gender is basically grammatical gender, because you see that gender also, that means that ja raha hu, ja rahi hu. From that you can decide that it's basically masculine and feminine in Hindi, but Bangla has already lost, but still in Sanskrit is there, in other languages, Germanic language is there. And tense system is very complicated, you know that very well. Basically in Sanskrit, you have studied Sanskrit, you have seen that. And also in Germanic, it is also in Old English. It was also present in Old English. Case system, karok, Bangla ke karok bola hai, basically karta, karma, karma, means nominative, accusative, dative. This is a very elaborate case system, which is basically the fundamental feature of all the Indo-European languages. And then you see that complicated verb forms. You saw that now simple, continuous, perfect continuous, in this way, you know. And in Sanskrit also very elaborate verbal system, which is also present in Germanic. You see that in Sanskrit, Hindi also you have the stress system. Stress is basically very important. In English also you find that if you present, present, if you put the stress on the first syllable, present, then it means that's basically gift. And I am present, again I am basically adjective, basically I am upasthit. Kintu present, your present, if I put the stress on the zent, it means upasthapan kara. You are putting something before the audience. Please present your case, please present your, and you go to বাজার কি জন্য যাচ্ছ না, প্রেজেন্টেশন কিনতে। প্রেজেন্টেশন কেনা যায় না, প্রেজেন্টেশন হলো বেসিক্যালি you are basically how you are placing, how you are giving the present. So তুমি গিফটটা কিভাবে দিচ্ছ সেটাকে হলো প্রেজেন্টেশন। আর এই যে আমি ক্লাস নিচ্ছি, কেমন ভালো দিচ্ছি না দিচ্ছি, প্রেজেন্টেশন, এটা উপস্থাপন করছি। সো প্রেজেন্টেশন কিনতে যাও না, যাও তোমরা প্রেজেন্ট কিনতে, PRESENT। And then complex and elaborate phonetic system. Phonetic system is very complicated. You don't need to know nowadays. But you should remember that these are the features of Indo-European family of languages. Highly inflected language, elaborate case system, grammatical system, and the grammatical gender system, natural gender system, sex-based gender system. Basically, grammatical means your grammar, there are some suffixes, vibhakti, some suffixes will decide that whether is in the present is it masculine or feminine. And then elaborate complicated verbal forms, then stress system. Stress is very important plays a role, because if you put the stress on the first level, in case of present is a noun or adjective, it means upasthit kimba ba notoba gift. If I put the stress on the second level, present, then that becomes basically verb. So with this, let me complete the first part of this one, and I am basically giving you the introduction lecture also. But you remember this one. If you do not know these things, you cannot understand the next classes, because I will talk gradually on different aspects of the language, and then we will proceed to other. Look at the topics which are there. Because if you do not know English, how English was, that means English is basically related to Germanic language. I am giving you some example. You see that Peter, in Germanic word Peter, now in Bangla, in Bangla was Pita, and in Sanskrit P3. Look at the point is that there are some similarities in Germanic and Sanskrit, and now in English it is called father. So there is certain similarities. This is one example I am giving. You see the tres. Three means teen in Latin, but it is in three in English. In Bangla, in Sanskrit, troi. So three, tritiyo, we can call it tritiyo. And then in Bangla, it's a teen. Okay, it is tritiyo sheni. We are saying tritiyo. So three, this word basically three. That's basically you will find a sort of similarities, grammatical similarities, word level similarities, phonetic level similarities, sound level similarities, there's there. So we will look into it, but it's preliminary. You don't need to know all these things. For that you need to have different kinds of books or different kinds of orientations. But now not necessary for the honors. Thank you today.